Hello, and you're welcome back to this channel. I am Tommy from the Soul Practice. At the Soul Practice, we have just one purpose, and that is to help you heal from the inside out. Today, I'm talking about emotional clutter. Many of us are familiar with that word, clutter, because oftentimes we talk about decluttering our homes and our spaces, but rarely do we think about the clutter that we keep in our mind. Now, emotional clutter can show up as lingering resentment, constant worry, unprocessed grief, unresolved conversations or conflicts, and unfinished goals. And when left unchecked, this build-up can drain energy, cloud judgment, and also leave us feeling stuck. Now, decluttering your mind is not about ignoring your emotions. It is about sorting, releasing, and creating space for peace and clarity in your mind. And you need this. This is very important. If you're going to experience any kind of peace in your life, you first have to have peace in your mind. And you can do that by decluttering your mind. Now, before you can begin to declutter your mind, you first have to recognize the signs of emotional clutter. Now, one sign you're going to recognize is when you begin to replay past mistakes in your mind. When you catch yourself replaying past incidents, past events, or past mistakes in your mind, reliving these experiences, that is one sign of emotional clutter. Another thing is holding on to grudges or what ifs. Right? What if I had done this? What if I had done that? What if she has said this? What if I hadn't done that? What if this has happened? What if? Stop, all right? This is a sign of emotional clutter. Another thing is when you can't sleep, right? You can't sleep because your mind just won't switch off. That is another sign that there's so much in your mind. There's so much clutter in your mind, and you need to start the process of decluttering your mind. Another thing is when you can't make decisions, when you feel so overwhelmed, even when you have to make small decisions, that is another sign of emotional clutter. Now let's begin looking at the things that you can do to start the process of decluttering your mind so that you can create space for peace and clarity. The first thing is awareness. You have to be aware. Awareness is important. Now, just like you would notice a messy environment, I mean, if you were in a room that is messy, you would see it, you would notice it. The same way you should begin to notice where your inner world feels messy. Now, when you have come to the awareness of emotional clutter, now you can begin to take some steps to declutter. Now, number one thing you can do is to journal. Now, journaling is so important. And because a lot of people find it hard to talk to anyone about what they're going through, about what is in their mind, sometimes because they don't know exactly how to say, journaling can be the first step to letting it out. When you journal, now when emotions and worries stay in your head, they feel overwhelming, right? Like there's just so much, and they just keep swirling around endlessly in your mind. But when you begin to journal, you're giving them form and making them easier to sort. Like you're just releasing them, taking them from your head down onto putting them down on paper where you can see them, and that way it's easier to begin to sort them out. I've had this experience, sometimes when I feel like there's just so much in my head, so many things in my head that I'm thinking about that I want to do, and it feels like it's just so much and it just keeps going around my head non-stop. Now, when I journal, I have noticed that it makes it easier. I can see them and then I can begin to sort them out one after the other. But when they're in my head, it's hard to sort things out when they're just in your head. Everything is just, together in your head, just moving around endlessly and continuously in your head. All right, so journaling is very important. I want you to take it seriously. If you're really serious about decluttering your mind, giving yourself peace, creating space in your mind, then try journaling. Now, some steps you can take to begin journaling. There's something we call brain dump. Yeah, try a brain dump every day before bed. So before you go to bed in the night, write down everything on your mind without editing. Just take a pen and paper. Don't type it, right? There's something about putting pen on paper, all right? So That's called brain dump. Write everything on your mind on paper without editing. Okay, how do you feel now when you've written everything down? Number two, the next step is to ask yourself, what can I control? And then what can I let go? What must I let go? And when you've done that, you've decided the things you can control, you've identified the things you can control and the things you need to let go. Now tear up that paper or just tuck it away somewhere. Now this helps you to detach. You need to detach from that list, because if you keep it and you're attached to it, it makes it more difficult. But when you identify the things that you need to let go and identify the ones that you can control, the ones within your control, those are the ones that you're going to work on, just let it go. Let that paper go, keep it somewhere or tear it up or just throw it away. That helps you to detach from it, and that sort of creates some peace in your mind. Now, letting go. All right, you have identified the things you can control and the things that you need to let go. Now, how do you let go? You need to understand that not every emotion, not every person, not every experience has the right to stay in your head permanently. You decide what stays and you decide what goes. You can do this. Sometimes people feel that they cannot let go. The thoughts, the emotions just keep coming back. Yes, they will come back, but there are things that you can do to let them go. Every time the emotions come back, you can release them. And when you do that over and over, they don't come back anymore. Now, letting go does not mean that you're forgetting. It only means that you're releasing the power that it has over you. Holding on to something gives it more power over you. But when you let it go, you release the power it has over you too, and you can stay in control of the situation. Now, practice forgiveness. That is number one step to letting go. Practice forgiveness. When you decide to forgive, you're not doing it for the other person's sake. No, it is for you. You're doing it for your own freedom. So it is important. I know that sometimes it may be difficult, very hard to forgive someone, especially when they have hurt you so badly. But when you look at it from the perspective of yourself, it's not for them, it's for you, for your freedom, for you to have peace. Then I think you would take some steps. You would find it necessary to forgive. Now, when things happen, sometimes we ask the question, why did this happen? Now, if you want to let go, you need to shift from asking the question, why did this happen, to what can I learn from this? Now, when we begin to look at it from this perspective, everything changes, right? It changes everything. Now we begin to look at the lesson that we can learn from this, and that helps us to let it go, and we can come out of that situation a better person than we entered it. We become wiser and stronger, and it also helps us to let it go when we know that there is a lesson to learn from the event, from the situation. We can let go. We can stop asking, why did this happen? Because the more we ask the question, why did this happen, the more we hold on to it, the more attached to it we are, and we may never get the answer to that question. But when we look at, what can I learn from this question? From this situation, what can I learn from this? Then we can find one or two lessons to learn from the situation, and then it helps us to let it go. We know that it's not all bad. There's some lessons, and every time we learn a lesson, we become better for it. Now, you can use grounding techniques when old emotions resurface. Grounding techniques like meditation, like deep breathing, like mindfulness. These help you to let the emotions go, right? To release them every time the emotions resurface. Like I said, sometimes these emotions don't go away. You can't get rid of them that easily. They will come back. They will keep resurfacing. But every time that happens, every time you catch yourself going over old emotions, old wounds, you can use these techniques to release them. And when you do this over and over for some time, it gets better and they stop coming back. Another thing that you can do is to stop overcommitting yourself. Sometimes overcommitment can lead to emotional clutter. So what can you do about that? List out all your current commitments: work, relationship, projects, whatever it is you're involved in right now. List them out, and now look at those things critically and decide which ones align with your values. right? Those are the ones you keep. The ones that don't align with your values, let them go. And also, you may need to practice saying, let me get back to you, instead of automatic yes, right? So sometimes instead of saying yes to everything, somebody proposes something to you, somebody brings a project to you, somebody tells you about something they want you to get on, don't just automatically say yes and then later regret saying yes or now rethinking your decision. Practice saying, let me get back to you. Let me get back to you. I mean, sometimes it takes practice, right, to really get used to saying that. So say it a few times. Let me get back to you. Let me get back to you. All right. And so that gives you time to really weigh your options. That gives you time to decide if you really want to get on this project, if you really want to get on this thing with this person, or you just want to wait this one out, or you just want to let this one go. Okay, it's not everything, not every project you can jump on. That is why you need to decide what things align with your values as an individual. So when something does not align with your values, it can lead to emotional clutter, and you take it on, it will lead to emotional clutter. It will lead to you losing your peace, and you don't want to lose your peace over anything. Also, you may need to practice mental minimalism. Just like minimalism in a room helps highlight the things that are important, mental minimalism also helps create space for peace in your mind. So reduce the time spent doom scrolling on social media. Also, you should unfollow accounts that fuel comparison and anxiety. It will do you a lot of good and not harm to unfollow accounts that fuel comparison, that makes you compare yourself with other people or gives you anxiety every time you watch their page, every time you see things on the page. Unfollow such accounts. Remember, your peace of mind is important and you don't want to trade your peace for anything. Also, focus on 1 to 2 priorities per day. You cannot do everything at the same time. Sometimes you want to do all. All right, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do everything. But the truth is, you cannot do everything. So focus on max, maybe 2 priorities in a day. All right, make sure you achieve those ones, do those ones, and then you have peace. You know that you have achieved your goals for the day. Other things can follow. Yeah, if you have time for other things, then do that. But if you put too much on yourself at once, you have to do 10 things. You have the unending to-do list per day. That fuels anxiety and it erodes your peace of mind. Also, you need to create healthy boundaries for yourself. Practice daily prayer and meditation. Practice regular exercise to help release stored up tension. And also have honest conversations, right? Instead of bottling things up, you need to speak it out honestly. Have honest conversations with your spouse, with your children, with your colleagues, with whoever it is around you. When something comes up, speak out your mind. Don't store it up inside, because storing up things inside, bottling things up, only leads to emotional clutter and that erodes your peace of mind. Every once in a while, you need to unplug in order to reset. You don't always have to be in one activity or the other. You don't always have to be active. You don't always have to be doing one thing. Sometimes all you need to do is just to be, to rest, to reset. That helps you clear your mind and return your peace. Your mind is like a room that you live in. If it is clouded with regrets, worries, anxiety, unfinished business, and all of that, you will feel suffocated. But when you clear the clutter through letting go, simplifying, and intentional routines, you create a space where joy, creativity, and peace can breathe. Decluttering your mind isn't about emptiness, really. It is about freedom, your own freedom. Thank you for watching today. I believe that you enjoyed the video and you have learned 1 or 2 things from the topic of today. I will see you again next week when I'm going to bring you another interesting topic that you definitely will love and also learn from. If you liked today's video, please hit the like button, drop a comment, and also do well to share the video to your friends and families who might need this video. Also, please subscribe to this channel. Thank you, and I will see you next time. Bye.